Welcome back to another episode of the IndieFilm Insider podcast. Today we talked with Zach, Dart, and Angelina McClung. Zach is an actor who's based out in Sacramento, California, and he had the privilege of playing Preston Benoit, the lead character in our upcoming film I Study People for a Living. Angelina is also an actor from California who also works as a stitcher for SAC Broadway Company. She got to play Kali in our upcoming film I Study People for a Living. We talked about the differences between screen acting and theater and what each actor does to prepare for either role. Angelina has a lot more experience in theater, and so we got to get into a lot of the nitty-gritty details of what even the crew does for theater. And Zach has more interest in screen acting, so we talk a lot about his commercial work. So if you like the content, make sure to like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into our conversation with Zach Dart and Angelina McClung.
Zach and Angelina, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's our first two-person episode, so...
Woo.
Four-person.
Yes, two.
But
guests.
but two.
Really.
Yes.
Two and
Yeah.
two.
We understood.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so you're...
I didn't. I'm sorry.
Anyways, for anyone who doesn't know, can you just give a brief overview as to who both of you guys are and why specifically it's you two as our first two guest episode?
Because we're the co-stars.
You know it. Yeah.
Yeah.
My name's Zach Dart. I'm 26 years old. I've been acting for about 4 years now, and I'm the co-star of I Study People for a Living. That's, why Angelina and I are here, but tell them who you are.
Okay. I'm Angelina, and I play Kali, and I have been acting since I just popped out of the womb, I guess. I started acting at this place called Roseville Theater Arts Academy when I was such a small bean, and I played a little penguin just waddling around. I didn't have very many lines, but that was like my first beginning star role. So.
Yeah. And so I Study People for a Living being the latest film that we did. We're not going to go into any spoilers on it here because it's not public, but we'll be having them back for another episode to talk about all the spoilers as soon as that goes public. So for now, we're just going to kind of talk about you guys, with you guys, just kind of on your acting journey and anything that you have found to be valuable in that path.
Yeah.
So.
Well, also I don't know if we can get into too many spoilers because they haven't seen it yet. So that's
That
another
is
thing.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
You'd be spoiling it for us, if
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, you guys didn't read the script. You're just there. You just showed up on set.
I don't
You're
read
like,
the script.
I have no idea why I'm here, what I'm doing. I'm just reading some lines.
Exactly. The script reads me. I don't read the script.
Yeah. Well, I guess let's just get into my first question. We'll start with. Yeah, this is the confusing part because usually on the other episodes I just state something and then the person responds. But if I state something, you guys are gonna be like, who are you talking to? So that's a bit of a interesting thing that we have
Learning
going on
curve,
here.
huh?
But yes, start with you, Zach.
Yeah.
What got you into acting?
Absolutely. I started college when I was in, it was 2017. I just graduated high school, and I decided to go to college for kinesiology at the University of Nevada, Reno. And I quickly found out that I love the college experience, but for all the wrong reasons, at least being away from home. You kind of learn really quickly who you are living on your own. And I kind of switched, through public health, moved back home after a couple of years, went to Sierra and William Jessup for teaching for a little bit. And then I kind of came to my senses at some point where I truly do have a passion for film. I love movies, and not that other people don't like movies, but I felt like I had some sort of opportunity to create something on my own and do something that not a lot of people in my family. My dad's in a similar media, but a different, I guess, medium of it. So I decided to go back to Sierra for theater, and I auditioned for my first musical, and I didn't get the part, and I knew that I had made the worst mistake of my life, to switch over, but I continued pursuing it. And when I transferred to Sac State, I had, a couple undergrad classes for theater, and I decided to audition for my second play, which was the Laramie Project, which was able to, give me the biggest opportunity to tell a really, broken but also really cool story about a community coming together. And that was in 2021, I believe. So it's really just kind of went from there to kind of branch out to film, theater, commercial, all the above, modeling as well. So I guess that's in a short kind of the my acting story.
Do you have a preference between you two babies, being film and theater?
I think it's what you're really looking for. I do miss theater, and I think being at school, it's, we always go back and forth in this world where do I go to school for this or can I learn it on my own? Because
Yeah.
there's, greater opportunities nowadays to learn things on YouTube or, just through other people or going to classes. But I do say that theater, going to school for theater, I had the opportunity to do plays and grab that experience that I didn't have beforehand. So I think that if you're looking for telling a story, 8 harsh weeks of rehearsals, and then you have 2 weeks of performance, like it's very thrilling, but I really like film nowadays, but commercial as well, just because it's like you're on set, you're improvising some stuff and it's super quick. Like, you're just, getting shots within a couple hours and that's it. So time wise, I do like commercial lately, but film and theater always have a special place in my heart too. Yeah.
And then Angelina, what got you into acting?
Well, I guess I gave a little preview at the start of this podcast, but even before I had my first play, I think my parents just didn't know what to do with me. So they put me into kind of acting at such a young age because I would be at home and I would put on my own skits. And the song Shake, Rattle, and Roll, that song? Instead, I would have a rattle and I would be like, shake the rattle and roll, guys. So then my parents were just like, okay, we can't always watch your skits, my love. So why don't we just send her off and let her do her own thing and then we can come pick her up after she's done being crazy.
How old were you at that point?
2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you weren't lying about you were acting straight out the womb.
I basically.
Okay, well that's honestly that's interesting to hear because that's kind of how a lot of filmmakers get their start. It's just they sort of that's how I started. I started just filming random stuff. Like there's an old video I found in my family's just like store. They opened up their storage recently and they found a bunch of like old cameras and stuff. And there was this one video of me literally 2 years old. I'm like filming my dad. I'm like, hello, Dad. And I'm like filming him. And then I zoom into like a random chair. And like I don't know what exactly drew me to that.
Of that
Yeah, exactly. It was my first directorial. It was my directorial debut. But that's actually very cool to hear that it's sort of similar for actors as well.
And to clarify, the reason why my parents didn't know what to do with me is because they are not in any way artistic in their fields. Like my dad is a math teacher and then my mom was a historian and English major. So they're both very academic people, which is not what I am. Even though I'm very, very competitive in the sense that I was always a straight A student, probably because my parents were very academic, but in the regard to being very artistic, I don't know where I got that. It just happened.
Some genetic mutation or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's kind of how a lot of people are. They want to break away from what their parents do.
Yeah.
But you probably, I mean, everyone kind of takes a little bit from it too. You take a little bit from your mama and dada.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's either you want to do exactly what they want to do, what they do, or the polar opposite of it.
Right. And sometimes
There's no in between.
It's like a matter of like trial and failure. Like I found like myself trying to do so many different things that like I thought I wanted to do, but it was possibly just like what other people would think would be good for me. But like at the end of the day, like you just maybe don't know yet. And like you come to a point in your life where you're like, I have to, make a decision for myself. And like, that's what you're most like grateful for. And like you have, the most effort put towards like having some more skin in the game. So you're more motivated to do anything like that.
And I'm very thankful that they were still so supportive, even though they didn't fully understand it. Like I said, they put me in there and I loved it. So it's not like they just sent me off, even though they kind of were doing that. But I ended up really, really liking it and continued on. And I'm 25 now, so.
Yeah, because you do a lot of theater too, right?
Yes, I went to school for theater at UC Davis and I got my bachelor's in theater and dance.
I know, I mean, because obviously I don't know in that regard because neither Jake or I ever went to school literally
never went to school
ever?
No, we've been running around since we were 6.
Yes,
completely uneducated. Don't know how to read or write. Never been to college for that.
Yeah.
Is a theater bachelor similar to film in the sense of like you just kind of learn how to pull off the production side of it?
Yeah, I think going to classes is very important, especially if you're. Because when I first went, I thought I only wanted to be an actor, but then I started taking more backstage type classes and I learned, hey, I love theater in general. It's not just acting. So it gave me an opportunity to have more jobs too. Because say I audition and I don't get something, I have other things to fall back onto.
You could be the light tech or the costume designer or
Yeah.
something. And you do like costume designing, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How similar is theater to film in the way it's set up? Because I know obviously it's very different because I think you're trying to go for different things. But what does it look like?
I can only think of a big difference right now, but theater, you have to be way more big in your movements. And that's probably why I talk with my hands so much, because I'm just so big. But with film, you kind of just have to focus more on maybe a facial expression that's way more subtle. You have to be way more big and over dramatic when you're on stage because people can't see you from close up.
Yeah.
And then what about the production side? Is it because there's also lighting and there's directing and there's a lot of stuff like that. And I've never been on a set for theater, not since I was like a little baby in elementary school doing the little like whatever plays you do when you're that age. But what does that look like production wise?
There's still a lot of planning. Even though it's a live performance, there's so much that goes into it beforehand. Production meetings, everyone gets together, the lighting, sound, costume person all has that meeting and making sure that everything is cohesive. It's not just random lights and making sure the lights go with the color scheme of the costumes.
Totally.
So all of that is planned out, and then rehearsals too before the actual performance.
Yeah, I think it's very important for the director or somebody who's like the person who kind of has the whole story in their mind is like understanding the through line and knowing the tone of the entire production, whether it is a film or it is a production, because then you're able to motivate what are these lighting choices that you're making, how will that portray this character's mood in that sense. But I think having like an overall encompassed knowledge versus like going in day, you're like, we'll see how it goes. It's like the better projects, I feel like you have a plan to begin with, and not to say that there's certain projects where you can like pull off last minute and like it's not going to be as good quality, but I think it's like you're insuring, it's like your insurance, basically making sure that it's going to be pulled off in a sense where you're not running into the wee hours in the early morning or something like that.
Yeah, because there's still like obviously organization.
Totally.
I think the thing that is very apparent probably in both, I'm assuming in both, is organization and just being on schedule and having it just has the exact same, or maybe not the exact same, but a very similar setup to film. And I don't know, I do think it would be cool at some point for I just want to learn more about like theater production because it does sound really interesting, and obviously there's much different stakes because you're doing it live.
It's very true.
And being a film director, it's kind of fun because I can just mess up as much as I want, and people get mad at me because it's like, oh, we're running behind on time, but whatever, infinite time basically. So I just find the raw like stakes of it to be kind of enticing but
It's
scary
thrilling.
at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the one overlay, even though there's a lot more at stake with a live performance, is you still need to make sure that your actors are investing time into their own characters as well, because that preparation is equal on both parts. And you're, studying your lines and you're saying them out loud, but you're also understanding like what is being said, because it's one thing to like convince a character of what you're trying to do, but you have to be convinced yourself that your like character believes that. So I think the preparation is like one thing that overlaps in both, where actor, they'll show if they're truly prepared because they're not asking for lines every single time. Obviously all of us mess up, I mess up all the time, but having that general thought in your mind, knowing who you are on film or on stage.
Yeah, you're not just saying the lines. You're not just memorizing the words, because you can tell when actors are just blah, 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 saying whatever they memorized.
Totally.
There's a difference between character analysis and really putting in your feeling of putting yourself in the character's shoes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. I guess I have one for Zach too, because you're definitely more seasoned. Or I guess you've done a bunch of films with students at Sac State. Is there anything that you notice for, I guess, student directors specifically that maybe they can focus on improving?
It's because it's a it's a student film, you know, it's university production. It's in its early stages of you understanding how to handle sets and, you know, how to stay on time and everything. And I think people have a pretty good grasp of time when on set, but I think it's another thing on being like a compelling director, but also having control over your sets, because I've been on too many where it's like you have a large group of people. Are they really doing anything? Are they just being distracted? You know, and like, does that take away time? Then does that bleed into, you know, your time filming as well? But other than that, like being, I guess, encouraged to take as many risks as possible. I feel like we're more comfortable with, you know, doing what we think is like safe and whatnot. But it's the same as theater. And I was telling you, I was watching, you know, your guys in Phoenix podcast, but it's okay to like feel dangerous on set or on stage as well, because like the more at stake, like the more believable, I guess it really is. So like whenever we'd talk, you know, during a scene, like I would want to see, you know, what's your thought process about this? Like, what are like 5 different approaches that we can do that? And I think like that truly creates a solid relationship between producer, director, and actors, is the communication line and kind of getting into their brain about, okay, like this is what the line is, but like how can we approach it in many different ways, and like which one I guess looks best on screen. So I think relationships between people on set, you know, is a very important piece of it, you know.
Yeah. And then what would, like, you mentioned taking risks as an actor. Like, what would taking a risk like that look like?
It's like, say you have a repeating line where it's like, yes, 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 or like, what? It's like not saying that as like 3 repeating, you know, like what? It's like, what? What?
Just like
what?
Script deviation.
Exactly. Yeah. It's making strong choices as an actor, which like therefore I think makes the character a lot more elevated, because then you can really involve, you know, what is their personality really like? And it's not Zach on screen, it's Preston, you know, like that's what separates, is by taking risks and, you know, yelling or hitting, you know, like an object like a steering wheel or whatever. Like maybe it looks completely stupid, but like you wouldn't know like until you like find that one golden nugget on film, and you're like, okay, that's what's going to be kept in, you know. I think that's what taking a risk really is at the end of the day.
Yeah. That's a good point, because I remember talking with Phoenix, you know, Phoenix Brewer. I'm just saying his full name so that any viewer can have context there. Former guest, check it out. Link in description, maybe, if I remember to do that. Sorry for all the YouTube stuff, but that's something that we talked about, is when you're telling an actor like, hey, this character, let's make this character more sad, or just act more sad, or act more happy, or act more mad. Right. I try to remember this when I'm telling someone to be more sad. I'm like, well, let's think about like Preston in this scene right now. He just like, you know, had this big thing happen to him, and it was a really big deal to him, and now he's, you know, he has nothing left or whatever. Potential spoiler. But I try to give context to the character, and I think that probably is more useful to an actor to say like, hey, like, you know, Angelina, don't be more sad here. Like, think about what Kali's going through. Think about this, like the context for her and what the world looks like through her eyes, you know? So I think that is something I learned and I'm trying to improve on, is think about what is the best way to relay information to an actor.
Yeah, you establish a certain parameter of like, you know, what's going on, the context of it all. But if you let like actors play on a set or like in a scene or whatever, like that's where the risks are being taken. Like on a rehearsal for a scene that I did for a play at Sac State, like I was supposed to hoist an actress up, take her, put her on, you know, a counter, and we're having, you know, an intimate scene. But instead of moving like plates and dishes out of the way on like a production set, I swiped it all into like the sink and all, and like although it all broke and like everyone like looked up in like disbelief, like you just ruined half of our props, but like that's what a risk like really, you know, looks like to me, is like you're allowing people to, you know, make discoveries, you know, in the moment.
These were not consumable props.
Literally, exactly. There's like a smoothie, there's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you know, but it's
you may have destroyed $100 of props, but it looked cool.
It looked really cool, man. In that moment, it actually did.
No, as a backstage person, I would be so pissed.
Absolutely.
At you.
I cleaned it up. It's okay. I didn't make somebody else do it.
Good.
It's fine. You cleaned it up. It's not. It's not like someone spent the time to make that and set it up all nice. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Have you guys messed around with improv at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's so bad. But it's
Why?
fun. But it's fun though. I mean, I'm getting better at it, I think, especially with on-stage acting. Once you get used to your character, you know how to say a line to keep the play going. Say another co-star of yours maybe forgets a line, you know how to keep the play going because you know your character. So I feel like I'm getting better in that sense of actually being in a play. But I am a part of a group YouTube channel called I'm a Banana Productions, and we do some weird, really weird stuff, and we improv everything. Sometimes we will go in separate rooms and just pick an outfit and put on wigs and everything. We come out and we show each other, and then we just make a script based off what we're wearing. Yeah.
Is that just like with you and a couple friends?
Yes.
Okay.
Just some high school friends.
Okay. And how long have you been doing that?
Since I knew them in high school. Like,
Oh, okay.
that's pretty much what bonded us together, I think. We all were very strange people, and we were just like, oh, hey, do you want to just go over to your house and like put on some strange 1800s outfit and wear a wig? Sure. Sounds great.
Yeah, that's kind of what Owen and I did in our past troubled past. We had this one series called Drug Lord of a Suburban City. I played a character named Richard Smith, I believe, right? Was it Richard
Ooh,
Smith?
Yeah.
Very
But-
complex.
But it was the classic move of not naming the character, like not ever saying that person's
Yeah.
name, but it just shows up
In the credits. Yeah.
Yeah, we have,
That's who his name was.
we have plenty
Yeah,
of those.
and that was completely. We didn't have a script or anything. We were like, what, like 15?
I was like 15 when we were doing it.
Yeah. So we were like young, and we're just kind of
2018.
messing around, and we're
Yeah.
just like filming, random stuff. But it kind of had a story. It was like there's we're like these undercover agents, and there's the main antagonist, and his name's John Hussein, and he's
He's my brother.
who's playing. Yeah, it was just a bunch of friends.
I love it.
Yeah, who's like a 12-year-old drug lord, but anyways.
Perfect.
No, the point of bringing that up though is like we learned from that, and it's like even for your YouTube channel, Banana. Was
I'm
it?
a Banana
I'm a Banana?
Productions.
I'm a
yeah.
Banana
Link
Productions.
in the description.
Shout out
Yeah,
to me and my friends.
yeah. Like I'm sure you get some like learning experience out of that
For
too.
sure.
Like just even just messing around, even just like you don't
No,
think
I
you don't
am
think of
way
it,
better with them now than I was when I first started out with them.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you need to build off, like the first thing you really need, and I've experienced this on set when improving, like say the beginning of a scene where you need to like establish relationships between characters, and there's no real lines being put towards, it's just like, whispers, I love you, like whatever. It's all chemistry. You like, you guys were friends, since then. So like it was still easy to improv to some extent. Same with your friends. Like you guys at least knew your mannerisms, you're comfortable with one another.
Mhm.
And that's when you like get the best improv out of it all. But yeah.
Do you think the need for improv lessons as you work with, I guess, higher caliber people in the theater space?
I think basic exercises are always good. It's like warming up, like your
Yeah.
vocals or whatever, like warming up improv, like playing, yes and, or, zip zap zop. Like there's all these, different theater games, but it's I guess, surrendering yourself to the group and like dropping all of that, materialistic stuff that you have, and like being willing to be raw in that moment and like not being embarrassed, say if you make a mistake. I think that's like the biggest lesson that you can learn through these games, because although they're simple, there's still a principle of participating and putting everything that you have into it.
Yeah, I don't think the point is to like be good at improv. The point is just to get to know everyone, and to kind of fail, to sort of fail in front of everyone, and that way you guys get all closer together. Because when you're like, what's the average length of a like theater production? Like how long do those go for? Is it like several months, weeks?
It definitely depends.
Mm.
Broadway SAC is very fast paced. I would say it's a lot faster than usual, but those are like professional actors.
Yeah.
They fly from LA or
That's
New York
that's
and stuff.
union.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only been part of productions where, I would say like 2 months is probably a normal
professional, yeah.
rehearsal production meeting time period, and then
Yeah.
like a weekend performance, sometimes 2 weekends.
For the professional ones, how long would those be?
They only get 2 weeks.
of rehearsal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at the same exact time as the play is happening, there's a separate room where the next play that's going to happen right after is rehearsing.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's very fast paced. It's every 2 weeks, which is still crazy to me that they're able to accomplish that. I don't know how the actors are able to memorize so many of their lines in that amount of time, especially how they also have to dance too.
Mm-hmm.
And these are what, like 90-minute, 2-hour shows?
2 hour, yeah. There's a like 20-minute intermission in between.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And that's probably just for a higher turnover to incentivize like ticket buying.
100%. You know. Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that's why they're professionals
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and deserve to, I guess, be paid what they do.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. That was So that's what I was saying is sort of it's important to get to know these people and to like do silly exercises like that because you are working with them for several weeks at a time. You know, and I'm assuming it's the same people throughout the whole. Like when you start it, it's the same at the end. It's like you don't have like people switching out. Like it's just the same.
Unless
crew.
you have a swing or an understudy. But yeah, usually it's the same person. But in case of an emergency, these higher production places will have an understudy. I've never been in a production with an understudy before, so if you're sick, like I don't know what to tell you. You still got to do it.
Same
You know?
It's,
And an understudy is effectively a second person for the same role.
Yes.
Okay.
Backup.
You don't need backups. That's it. It makes you try harder, man. You know, you put.
Makes your immune system stronger. if you
It
have a
really
backup.
does. It makes you more conscious of what you're doing too, as far as like, are you going out and like being crazy, or are you like staying in? Are you kind of devoting yourself? And like, there's a proper balance because like you want to still be like a human and not like a robot and lock yourself in a room and like be like, I'm going to be method from here on out. Like it's not feasible in my mind.
Yeah, that's interesting because I think also like one thing I was thinking about is with theater and film, you have so much like slang and like this like little like jargon stuff that you say. And I think it's whenever I think I heard Angelina, you were talking with our sound guy Julian about some theater stuff, and just some of those words you were saying, I was like, those are not like real words. I forget exactly what they were, but it was just like a bunch of slang, and I don't know. I find that interesting that there's so much on both sides that are like separate from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because even like like with the Scottish play, like you can't say like the name. It's
Oh.
yeah.
Okay. Evidently, I didn't know.
You're supposed to say Mackers.
Mackers.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different ones for it, right? Like to say it indirectly,
Right.
like stuff like that is just like funny to me, but it's also like. It's not like no one's ever like gonna really take it seriously, right? But you kind of have that stuff on a film set too. So I always think like stuff like that, improv, all of that kind of build the community of like whatever crew, cast, whatever you're part of,
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some fun ones that you know of? Fun slangs.
And break legs is very obvious.
Oh,
And that I think
Classic.
is like very overlay. Whenever people are like, striking, like turning on lights or whatever, it's like the same as like on stage, but you like tell them, thank you striking or whatever. It's like, you're responding just to show that like you acknowledge it, or like, all right, guys, we're moving on to the next scene. Like it'll be 1 hour. It'll be like, thank you, 1 hour. It's just like, it's a simple term of like, responding to them, knowing that, like you heard them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's the same for backstage, like rope pulling, like scenic coming in and out. You want to make sure the actors on stage are safe.
Mm-hmm.
And so you would be like, set, coming in. And then everybody would respond and be like, thank you, set, type of thing.
Yep.
So that you acknowledge what's ready to happen and you don't bonk an actor on the head or something.
Yeah.
I feel like, what's another one? Like points? Is that like one that Dean used on film,
That's a film term,
film term. And you got your Apple box, all of your positions. You got New York, you got Los Angeles, and you got Chicago.
Oh, where'd you learn that?
Where'd you learn those?
Pretty cool podcast called IndieFilm Insider, the one that I'm on right now.
Yes. Because that was I think that's where that inside joke started, where we always would reference it on our sets. We're like, it's you can learn more about that on the Indie Film Insider podcast.
Self promotion.
So, yeah, I don't know where.
With 30-something film terms you might not know about.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
That will be linked in the description.
Too many links now.
Right.
Gotta link everything now.
Let's just have nothing in there.
It's gonna take up the description.
We'll just say Zach, Dart, and Angelina McClung.
Mm-hmm.
in the episode.
Literally.
That's it.
And then like 5,000 different links of
Yeah.
the videos that we've
Yeah.
referenced.
To every Wikipedia page ever for no reason.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, for film slang, there are. I think also a lot of them come from theater, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably.
Yeah.
Was it you, Angelina, saying that there is like striking means something differently, or maybe not striking? I forgot it was.
You did say that, and that is true.
You mean in real life strike?
Well, like-
versus,
like-
or
like film
film
Like
versus
theater versus film striking, because I think because striking in film means like I'm turning on these bright lights.
Yeah.
Like, watch out.
Yeah,
versus-
that's right.
we did
yeah,
talk
and
about this.
Yes. Because in theater, it means you're taking off everything from the stage. It's the last day of the performance. It's at the end of the night, and you're taking down all the set pieces. You're putting back all the costumes in stock that you pulled out.
Okay.
You're basically putting everything back to where it was when you first started.
So when we were saying that on our set, you're like, okay, bye guys, I'll see you guys later.
Literally. Like,
You think we're like packing up?
we're striking.
Yes.
I guess another one would be like when you're in the rehearsal process, like cue to cue is like another one that they refer to on theater. It's where you're rehearsing, and instead of rehearsing the whole scene and like running it like that to that, it's literally just the end of the scene, and then it'd be a lighting cue or say a sound cue. It's like it's figuring out the logistics of those technical, assets. That's like, those lights need to go on in this exact moment, or like change color. There's a sound that needs to be. So that's just another one, I guess. Cue to cue.
Have you tried any technical stuff, Zach?
When I was at Sierra College, I was able to experience during COVID the lighting, the stage lighting class there, as well as set design. And I do wish at some level that I did it at Sac State, because I feel like I could have gotten, maybe a little more out of it, but I still was able to understand all these references of like different lenses or different lights in general, as well as the safety of the scene shopper, where they're creating all these set pieces as well. So for stage production, I did like set design for the play that actually didn't get cast in. So that was it was like making, I was like, these making
Yeah.
them, but that was about it. But I think it really is essential for an actor to have some sort of understanding of all these different pieces that go into whether it is a theater production or a film set, so that you're respectful for all those people that are on set. It's not just you that's you're just one piece of this. But that's about the only experience that I really had.
Yeah.
No.
And then what are you, Angelina? What do you like technical wise?
So
theater?
I am a stitcher at Broadway Sacramento, so I help sew the costumes there. And then I've also been a costume designer at community theaters or in college as well. And then my other job is a scene technician / theater technician, just in general. So I might work on the light board or the sound board. I might work on the light rail operation, maybe opening and closing curtains, putting sets on stage, stuff like that. I do a little bit of everything.
What's your I guess like end goal in theater? Do you have a dream position, like acting, I guess?
You mean like a specific character?
Just like aspiration, just like 10 years from now, if you're still in theater doing all that, like what would the ideal place be for you?
Kind of right now, honestly. I like having a mixture. It keeps my brain energized. I like doing a bunch of different things, and being a Swiss Army knife is what I like to call it.
Okay.
Just to kind of give my brain I don't know what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
just so you're not like bored.
Keep
just doing the
yourself
same
occupied.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That way you're not just like doing one thing over and over and over
Yeah.
again. Yeah. That's cool. And then would you say you're more interested in doing just like the behind the scenes stuff and sort of the part of the production, as opposed to being like in the cast? or
Oh,
like
I
acting?
love both.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love being the center of attention. I can't lie. But I also just love being backstage and watching my actor friends do such a good job, and just being behind the scenes.
I
And
feel like you're saying that through like oh, I love watching them.
I promise I'm being sincere.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why my face would. It's really hot right now, so I don't know if
That's
I'm
true.
like burning
fair.
up, but no, it's very sincere. I like doing both.
Yeah, once we get monetized on YouTube, we'll be able to get our own studio. So
Right.
For now.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, donate. Link. I guess we don't have
We do not have a donation.
we don't have a way to donate yet.
Stop your shilling.
Well,
Literally.
maybe in the future, if someone's watching this after we get our donation permissions on YouTube,
There
they
you
can
go.
donate
Sure.
Absolutely.
$11, please.
Yeah, Zach, do you have any projects coming up that you're excited about in terms of film?
Oh man, I'm doing endless auditions for my agency, and it's kind of hard to sometimes break through to like, that last piece. It's like I guess you take out the middleman of like going out and seeking for those things. And but upcoming, I will say commercial with you guys, I'm looking forward to. For film, there's my first feature that I was offered a part in, which I'm excited for.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it'll be with a local director here that recently just released his proof of concept or his short film version, and now it'll be like a maniacal anchor man is what I got pitched for.
I think we know who
Yeah.
it is.
So without giving away too much, but it's kind of cool. I was kind of excited to get offered the part because my father does similar stuff with anchoring on the news. So it's like there's a piece of me that like I want to bring into the part, but at some sense you have to make it a lot more hyperbolic, where it's like it's exaggerated, like there's not a lot of tied to Zach as much as just this character on its own. So that one, but still trying to audition endlessly, and it's not just for film or it's also for commercial, which it's a hard medium to get into, I will say, just because they sometimes are looking for a specific look. So it's a matter of just not taking it personally, at the end of the day,
Yeah, I'm assuming there's more commercial stuff going around nowadays than film stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. Those are more often than the films, but that's why when you get the opportunity, as long as you trust the people, you've heard good things, you kind of see their prior work and you just kind of go for it. You got to get as much experience as possible. And that's why I think going to school for, theater is a great opportunity for students to dip their feet in the water. If it's not for them, it's not for them, but at least you tried,
And then for you, is that also like 10 years from now? Where like what's the ideal Zach Dart 10 years from now?
I've always gone back and forth, and I always want to hold on to a part of, this art form with me, whether, it is in the same respect of like film, theater, and commercial, or maybe it's focused on one or another. But in 10 years, I would still like to be doing this sort of stuff to some extent, whether it is for fun, with people that I've built close relationships to, and I have some other sort of job. But I will be honest, as a aspiring actor, as an actor that's building their craft, it is hard to support yourself at the very beginning. That's why you have to have
multiple jobs.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's the reality of it. But to answer your question, absolutely, it's something that is surreal. And when you go through 3 different majors and then you land on theater and you fall in love and you find a community that is very welcoming and educational at the same time, you don't want to let go of that. No,
Definitely. Yeah. Oh, I just thought I would ask. Just curious.
Absolutely.
If we have anything 10 years from now, let you know. We're like, Zach, come back.
Literally, you want Preston Benoit in 10 years.
Yes, the I Study People feature.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes. Now he works for the CIA.
Yeah.
Better
sequel.
tech for watching people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Could be a potential spoiler.
You're right.
You never know. Maybe we changed some things with the edit guys.
Oh yeah,
you'll see.
it'll be a catch me if you can moment. Where now he works for the government. They put his talents towards something.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, and in terms of, obviously we don't go into spoilers because we'll do the separate show for the spoiler talk for it. But in terms of working on this set for I Study People, are there any things that either one of you have learned, any big takeaways that you've got from it?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
That's fine too, but I'm just curious if there's anything like that.
Well, I know we talked about before the podcast even started about my monologue and how instead of it being all in one take, it could have been shorter takes combined
up.
to each other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess there's that possibility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned that maybe sometimes how you think it's going to play out isn't how it really, or it looks the best on camera. You know, sometimes that's why you need to take multiple takes of like when we did voiceover, you know, work, you guys, you know, listen to it and you're like, I don't know if that's really the end goal that we really want. And
Right.
I learned that it's okay if you make mistakes and you can, you know, do it over as many times. Like you were saying, you can make a mistake on set and like, it's not the end of the day. And the same thing goes for theater, and it happens, but you have that freedom and that opportunity to. I also learned for this specific character, because this was one that I haven't really had much experience with, a character type or archetype like this, that is the not antagonist. You know, he is the protagonist of the film, but you have to remove yourself from the character, and you also have to like realize when you're leaving set, like now you go back to your normal life too. And I've learned that before on previous sets, but like specifically with this, it's like when you're on set, like there were some times where like I would just kind of stray away from everybody on set and whatnot, kind of remove myself, just because it made me feel more comfortable acting the way that I do have to in the film. That's all I'll say.
Method actor.
Exactly. On set, not off set. I'll never do that.
Well, yeah, we keep referencing Phoenix, but going back to him for a second, I remember like on our film, I'll See You Again, he had to like, there's a very, obviously it's a very emotional film. It's very dark. It's about like grief and, you know, losing a loved one and stuff. And I remember like when we were filming something, we were like, oh, good job, Phoenix. And he's just still like, or like, yeah, that was good. You did a good job. And he's like, okay, just give me a second.
Yeah.
Like he was still like, kind of like, he was still super worked up because he was like, you know, he just did like, I think like 1 or 2 takes of just like, you know, bawling like his eyes out, you know? So
absolutely.
I think I did catch you one time when I was arriving to set. You were just like walking around with like your AirPods in, you're just like listening to something, and you're just like, okay, I'm in character now. We're like, oh, okay, cool. Because I just wrote the character. I don't really think that, you know. I'm just like, oh, okay, he's doing his method to get into character.
He's doing the acting thing.
We do that backstage in theater too.
Absolutely.
There's a moment when there's just a cut-off period where we're all having fun and chit-chatting, but then as soon as maybe 15 minutes before show starts, nope, no more talking in your regular person. It's you're looking through your script, you're kind of going through your vocal warm-ups, all that jazz. Yeah. Just to make sure you're fully in the zone before you go on stage. You don't want to have a random conversation with a person backstage right before you go on. It's just not realistic.
For sure. Absolutely. It's the same as like being on your phone. Like I'm a firm believer that like you can say check in with people like when you're on set of film, but like also I do kind of remove myself from the outside world, especially like on a phone, because like you see it and you instantly get distracted, and then you go down, you know, you're doom scrolling, you're texting a bunch of people. Yeah. So I agree. It's like you have to, you know, prioritize getting into character, and that way you seem authentic and believable and like a real person in some extent. Maybe there's some, you know, characters that you'll play where it's like, that isn't a real person, but I can see a version of humanity in them.
Yeah, honestly, like, I've kind of thought about that aspect of acting as something that I could at least like try out. 'Cause, like, I would be lying if I said I hadn't ever considered trying acting. Yeah. Of course, at least not to the extent that you guys do it with like actually auditioning for stuff. But like every now and then, I'm like, hey, what if I just wrote a script and just threw myself in as the main character? Because it just doesn't definitely make a different experience, and something that I would want to, I guess, experience from the other side of the camera, like being in front of it as opposed to be behind it.
Totally.
Well, you were in front of it for this film briefly.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting about that. Sure, I actually have a bigger cameo than you.
You do. You have one extra or 3. Wait, you have 3 shots you're in, right? Because there's
just 2.
You walk in behind him, and then you're with David. I guess so.
Yes.
I guess it's just 3 or 2.
Just 2 shots.
2 shots.
Oh yeah, we Jake and I both have cameos in the film. I guess you don't know that.
Oh yeah, you don't know that because you weren't there for the.
Yeah,
right.
My face is seen. He doesn't.
Yes.
Is in the back of your head.
It's just my
Yes,
chest.
yeah. I remember
Is
I
that a
push it.
tradition for you guys?
For us, so
yeah, do you always put yourself maybe
Jake
in the
does.
background or?
Jake does. He has.
don't blame me. What the fuck? What the fuck? Have I been doing that? I don't know.
You did, and I'll see you again.
Yeah, I was walking away on the beach with my flannel and like my sweatpants on the beach,
Yeah.
sandy
Yeah.
beach.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason for mine there was just like, yeah, can we get an extra that we haven't seen in like all the other shots
That we haven't used for 15 different shots
Yeah.
already. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck it, why
Yeah.
not?
I think it is valuable in like people taking a step back from what they're used to, and then because like you have so much experience, say directing or producing or whatnot, when you feel more passionate about like a role and you're like, no, like I can authentically like pull this off instead of like writing up a random character, you're like, I guess I could be convincing, it's like whatever you find, truly, or what you find passion in, then you can like just kind of delve into. So I encourage you to definitely do that. And I'm trying to do it more. So Jake and I have kind of talked about and like not always doing acting, but like also writing stuff, because like it could be for you or it could be for someone else. You just don't know yet.
Yeah, no, I would definitely encourage just anyone to like just write
Yeah.
or do anything that is it's still creative, just not in your usual. It's related to what you do, but not your main thing,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think acting is kind of interesting to me, but I would never do it unless it's a cameo.
Do it literally.
You know. I mean, I do some like music stuff. I play guitar, kinda, not really, but
Yeah.
I've been.
Well,
I've
that's
been,
an aspect of performing.
Yeah.
Absolutely is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's still like a thing of mine. Is I would like to perform live at least once just to do it. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Totally.
Just on stage, but I'll be behind the drummer. Just so they can hear it, but they don't see it. Because
Right
that
now,
would be too much.
Bring out the guitar. Will.
Yeah.
Can you
I-
You're
put-
just a silhouette.
literally.
exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
I did have a question for just both of you guys, just about because we auditioned for this film for I Study People. I think we went through. I forgot how many people we went through for Preston. Was it just Preston and Kali we auditioned for?
I think so, yeah.
So yeah, because when I wrote the script, I do like to try to work with new people, and I will say, this is fine to say, that I was considering like Phoenix for Preston.
Mhm.
But we just used him, and
Sure.
I do want to like work with new people when I can.
Yeah.
It's just better experience, and you let to learn more about other people. And then if I have a project in the future, now I have more people I know. I can get the right person casted for that.
Absolutely.
So for we casted you guys, obviously. When we
No way.
as you know,
Yeah.
as you know, what was your expectation for like the level of production that we would have? Like, did you think it was going to be us with phones, or like I guess what was your assumption that you kind of had?
I definitely wasn't expecting phones, especially because I had to audition. I felt like it was going to be at least professional in that regard. Because
100%.
if it was just a random short film with phones, I don't think you would have as much
Right.
consideration to go through all these auditions for,
Absolutely. If there's more of an organized process, I will say, then you can kind of tell the caliber of the production, and what's going to go into it, which is a lot more relieving than like, can you send us a video like reading this line off of a piece of paper?
Yeah.
Right.
Like it shows that like you guys care about it, and like you're not picking just anybody,
I think that's what made me interested in the first place too, because there was a synopsis even too, and
Yeah.
there was a little character list as well that I was
Yeah.
able to read before I even auditioned.
It's nice. It's sometimes a lot of times you actually don't get that,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
super valuable.
Well, that was actually something I was thinking is like, these people when they're reading it, they have zero. I don't want to like just send out the full script to
Uh-huh.
random people.
No.
That doesn't seem like a smart idea because I don't know how many people we auditioned for, but I'll just say for both of them combined, it was probably over 10.
Yeah.
And giving 10 people your script that is like not made yet is not fun, but so I did want to attach just as much context as I could, give you some background on the characters, like what the basic description of them like looks like in my head, and then just a couple of things like that. So I'm glad that actually helped, because I was thinking like there's a lot of ways to read it, and I want to make sure they read it at least in the right direction, and they can also you guys can do what you want with it. You can put in your own little flair and
Right.
make it yours, but just so that I can get the most out of like what I'm thinking for the character, because I'm not going to be, and it's obviously not an in-person audition, it's like virtual.
Mhm.
I guess, did we match your expectations? Like, did you think like, oh yes, I'm gonna be on this Hollywood production, and like, or were we like, oh dang it, it's just these two guys and they don't know what they're doing?
No,
I
yeah,
was pleasantly surprised. I
totally.
was happy. Yeah,
Good.
especially with all of the lights that you guys had, all of the fancy speaker
Mhm.
cameras and everything. No, yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that speaks to doing your research and looking up what filmmakers have made in the past. Have they, had experience in different genres of film as well? Like, do they only make action films? Do they only make creepy films, or do they have a little bit of everything? And did they start from point A and now they're at, point X right now or
Right.
whatever? It's like, has there been a growing process, or have you guys grown in the long run? Which you absolutely have,
Did you look up what we've done before?
Yes. I saw some of your guys' earlier work. It was cool to kind of see the progression of it,
Ah.
Which one?
Well, I recognize the one when you guys were filming down by that riverbank that we were filming for this one too, because it was Owen was acting in it, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if Jake was too. But what?
They don't even remember
Yeah.
what they
Yeah,
did.
or-
yeah.
The dried up riverbank? Was it one of you guys that was in the
With like the bridge in the background,
yeah,
right?
uh-huh.
No, wait.
Wait, okay, but we filmed a couple things there. What are you talking about? Like, which
Yeah.
exactly? Do you remember?
I don't remember, no, but I feel
How
like
old
it
were
was,
we? Did we look?
maybe like 4 years younger. I don't know how much younger you guys.
Because
Maybe 2, 3.
I haven't acted in anything since like 2018.
Yeah.
So when you
it's
say
in-
the one that I acted in, I'm like, what the hell are you talking? Those are private, so you cannot watch those.
Yeah, some of them are like obliterated off the internet.
You,
so.
you really are, Preston. You went on full
Yeah, you
stalker
stalked
mode.
us.
No, I did not. No.
We'll try to pinpoint the exact one
There
you
you
found after
go.
this because I'm curious now. I want to know.
I'll have to find
What
out
your
how.
research led you
I
to.
swear I just found it off of your guys' page. I swear.
I
Interesting.
hope so. It's quite terrifying. I created a monster. It seems.
No, not at all.
Getting way into the method.
Exactly.
Well, I just thought I would ask that because I wanted to, show everyone how professional we are and definitely work with us and give us some money. No, I just, to veer away from that slightly.
Mhm.
Were there things that okay, this is the thing, is like, I don't want to make it seem like, oh, like, say something bad about us, because like, I understand you're on our podcast and stuff. I don't want you to like feel nervous, but like, was there anything that you noticed that was like, not that it was bad, but like
To be improved on.
should be improved, and maybe it's like not standard. We're doing it like below the standard, I guess, if that makes any sense. Like, were we maybe a bit too distracted, or I don't know. I feel bad because I don't want to make it seem like you're, but just anything. Give us direction. You're the directors now.
Mhm.
That's a lot of pressure.
It really is.
Oh,
I try to make it as less pressure,
Of
least amount of
course.
pressure as possible.
I can always say with confidence, and I always tell this to myself too, it's like you can always take things maybe a little more seriously, or like you can always maybe, give even more direction or be more specific. And like, if not being as lax, and like if you have a particular vision, like being like, no, like I want you to do this here. And like, I know there's a balance to like allowing people to kind of do their own thing, and then with that improv aspect, but then also like, no, like I want this to be like exactly this way. So like having a backbone with certain artistic choices versus kind of being go with the flow. I feel like in any sense, director, producer, actor, I think that is always a piece of advice that people can take and be like, huh, yeah, like I can be confident in my craft, and like I can tell people what to do in a very respectful manner.
Just I don't know. Just was curious as
Of
if
course.
there's anything.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, for me, looking back on it, I think that like we said about the monologue stuff, we just never really had that long. I also didn't realize how long that was, so I'm sorry that we wrote it to be super. That I wrote it to be super long. I think that definitely has taught me to be just a lot more concise with my precise. Yeah, just a lot more narrow with my writing while still getting the point across, obviously. And I think there's definitely time times where that's justified. But
I mean, as a theater person, I'm used to memorizing super long monologues.
Yeah.
I think it was just slightly tough because you gave it to me kind of late.
Yeah.
And so I had to really focus on memorizing super late. And then that caused maybe my character to not be so fully in it because I wasn't as prepared. But I mean, with anything in theater or film, there's always going to be a surprise. So
Right.
That's fair.
That's true, and you can always be like more prepared too. Even if and that's one thing too is also like rehearsal. We didn't really. It was like over Zoom, which is fine, but like I think I definitely just want to rehearse a lot more in the future moving forward, even if it's like a 5-minute short film. Just the more prepared you are, the easier it's going to be on set, and it saves you a lot of time in the long run.
Well, we were able to run our lines beforehand, which was nice. Even if it was right before, it was very helpful.
Totally. Yeah.
And I saw you guys, you're like walking down, trying to figure out like, because that was another thing too, is you were doing a walking and a talking scene.
Oof.
And I don't think we've had that.
Walking and talking at the same
worst.
time?
Yes. Yeah. No, I don't think we've had that before, right, Owen? Like, have we had
No,
at least? Yeah, not that I can think of.
not recently.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
It was such a bad idea using that gimbal. That was like 25 pounds.
Yeah.
And I had to extend it like this.
Right.
And it was like, just a
Shoulder
handhold or whatever. Just do something like a normal person.
At a busy park that has baseball games going on, like on
Yeah.
a Saturday, and we're like, going take and take again, but it creates cinema.
It's absolute cinema.
It creates atmosphere. Which is
So
good.
that park we filmed at is like 15 minutes, 20-minute walk from here.
Okay.
Maybe shorter.
Mhm.
And Owen and I walk by that thing like basically every day, and there's no one there ever. Like every day,
Yeah.
no one there.
You just
And then
so
the-
happened to choose the one day where
And
everyone
the one
was
day
there.
we decided to film, and the exact time slot we decided to film for that day,
Yeah.
it's just packed, and it was not fun because I had to. I drove in there, and I think Ryan, our first AD, he was calling me. He was like, "Yo, where the fuck are you?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm pulling in. Where should I park?" He's like, "I'm just gonna stand in this spot because someone wants to get in it. So
Literally.
I'll block them, and you can just slide in here." I was like, "Okay,
Right.
we're the dicks now, we're gonna be the people who disrupt everyone's fun time at the.
We're
at the
filming
little
here.
game.
Exactly.
We're the important people.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And then you get the question, "What are you filming?" And then you're like, "I
When
don't
you say a mayonnaise
a
commercial.
mayonnaise commercial." It's always the one
Exactly.
to go to.
Oh, that's another little
God,
film
it was good.
slang.
Yeah, when we were, I don't know if obviously Angelina was, but when we were filming at the cafe,
Mhm.
there was like a guy who like came by, like an older guy,
Mhm.
and Dean, our key grip, we were like joking around about the mayonnaise commercial thing like 15 minutes before, and he asked what we were filming, and we were like, "Oh yeah, mayonnaise commercial." And he's like, "Oh." Like by the book. Like he does exactly what you want him to
Mhm.
when you say that line. He's like, "Well, like a mayonnaise commercial." He's like, "Oh, what brand?" We're like, Hellman's.
Mhm.
Actually,
Julian said that, I think, right?
oh yeah. Julian pulled a line out of his ass because we were shooting the shot where you like throw like a bag of trash away.
Right.
He was like, "Yeah, we're shooting a commercial for Hellman's. It's about
Oh,
throwing
gosh.
away your old mayonnaise and getting a new brand of Hellman's."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was. I did not expect that to actually happen, but here we
Yeah.
were.
It's that go-to panic button. If you need it, just say mayonnaise commercial.
Yeah.
Do it. You won't
Exactly.
regret it.
Anyways, on that note, guys, I think we'll wrap this podcast up right here. If anybody wants to find you, your projects, anything you're working on, where can they do that?
Okay, I guess you're looking at me. So,
You first.
all right. Well, I guess I'll promote Broadway Sacramento at Music Circus.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I'm a stitcher there, so I help make all the costumes every single summer. And right now, West Side Story is playing, so I helped make the 1950s style swing dresses and tops, which was really fun. I always love working on period style pieces. And then right after that, In the Heights is opening, so you can
Love that.
buy tickets at BroadwaySacramento.com if you'd like.
Yeah, if you're in the Sac area, go there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah. Also check out Sac State Theater. Right now, obviously, school's not in, so always go support local theater. I think it's always cool to see, local students growing and improving their craft. And then find me on the Instagram. I always promote all my films on there too, including this one. But I have some really exciting projects, some superheroes, some stalker, and Zach
He does it all.
Dart02.
Stalker, everything. Yeah.
Stalker and superhero.
Yeah, and then I'm at OwenCard.dp on Instagram. Jake, where are you?
I'm at Jake Ross Bell
And
on
then
Instagram.
And then if you want to check out the previous episode we did with Luca Pizzolio, I think that's it.
Pizzaleo.
Pizzoleo.
Yes.
Luca Pizzoleo. That's been on
Yes.
screen for the past 15 seconds or so. Go check that out. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Peace.